Welcome trainers, SergiBit here. Today I am attempting to beat Pokémon SoulSilver using only Pokémon that appear on Johto Gym Leaders teams. And on top of that, this is a Permadeath run. That means that we will try not to lose any battle. I actually think this challenge is doable because some of the Pokémon used by Johto Gym Leaders are really strong. Here are the main rules of the run. I can only use Pokémon that appear on the 8 Johto Gym Leaders teams, plus their evolutions. Kanto Gym Leaders and all rematch teams do not count. No duplicate Pokémon are allowed, even if gym leaders like Jasmine or Morty use more than one of the same species. I am allowed to catch extra Pokémon, strictly for HM usage, but they can never be used in battle. Also, I'll be using the same rules from previous challenges. I must own an original copy of the game. I am allowing PKHex only for trade evolutions and Magnezone. A speed up booster up to ×2 is allowed for convenience. Cheats are permitted only to obtain Game Corner coins for TMs, purely to avoid excessive grinding and for no other advantage. Battle style is set to set, and no items are allowed in battle, except for held items. To raise the difficulty even further, during each gym battle I can only use the same number of Pokémon as the gym leader. And if any of my Pokémon exceed the level cap of the gym leader's ace, they are banned from that fight. The challenge officially ends after defeating Red. So, can Johto Gym Leaders Pokémon carry me all the way to the end? Let's begin! We started by setting the options following the rules of the challenge. The challenge had not started yet. Next, we went to Professor Elm's lab to receive our starter, Chikorita. We did all the introductory actions until we had to battle our rival, who was defeated easily. After returning to the lab, we received Pokeballs after a tutorial, so we could catch our first team member, a Pidgey that we named Falkner. With that, it was time to box our starter and officially begin the challenge. The first thing we did was to catch a Weedle that we named Catty. Later, we arrived at Violet City and went straight to Sprout Tower to find and catch a Ghastly that we named Fantina. Since we were there, we finished the tower trainers. Afterwards, we went to battle the gym trainers. Once we reached the level cap, we battled against the first gym leader, Falkner, using Pidgey and Ghastly. The first match is Pidgey versus Pidgey. I use Gust, he uses Tackle. I use Gust again, but this time he uses Sand Attack. I switch to Quick Attack and knock out the bird. He sends out Pidgeotto, and I decide to switch to Ghastly. He uses Gust. I use Curse, and another Gust knocks us out. I send Pidgey again, and I use Gust, and he heals with Roost. We both repeat the same move. I keep using Gust, and he uses Tackle. I finish the battle using Quick Attack. First batch in our hands. Before moving forward, we cocked a Geodude for HMs, and grabbed HM6 Rock Smash. With that, we went south through Route 32, and got the Old Rod from a fisherman. With this item, we returned north to the ruins of Alph, so we could fish, and catch a Poliwag that we named Misty. With our new team member, we entered the Union Cave, so we could also catch an Onix that we named Roxanne. Eventually, we arrived at Azalea Town, and then went inside the Slowpoke well to defeat Team Rocket. Here we had to battle Proton. He sends out Zubat, and I go with Onix. I miss my move, and he confuses me. I hurt myself in confusion, and he uses Leech Life. I land a Rock Throw, and then a Tackle is enough to KO the Pokémon. Next is Coughing, and I switch to Falkner. He lowers my accuracy. I use Gust, and he misses a Smog. I miss Gust, and he poisons me with Smog. I keep using Gust, and he misses one move and lands the next one. I miss a Quick Attack, and he misses again. But with another attempt, we hit and knock out the Pokémon, winning the battle. After that, we battle the gym trainers and reach the level cap. Time to battle Bugsy. I use Onix, Pidgey, and Ghastly. I send out Onix, and he sends out Scyther. He uses Leer, and I land a Rock Tomb, triggering the Citrus Berry. I miss Rock Tomb, and he uses Leer again. I land my move and leave him at 1 HP, and he uses Focus Energy. I use a Screech, anticipating the heal. Another Rock Tomb one-shots the Pokémon. He sends out Metabot, and I use Rock Tomb twice to quickly defeat him. I do the same against Kakuna, and win the second batch without much trouble. Next is the rival battle. We both start with Ghastly. 2 Nightshades are enough to put down the ghost. Next is Zubat. I use Nightshade, and he uses Bite. I switch to Roxanne, who also receives a Bite. One more, and Rock Tomb defeats Zubat. The last Pokémon is Kilava. He uses Leer, and I use a Screech. He uses Leer again, and I miss a Rock Tomb. He uses a Smokescreen, and I miss again. He uses Leer one more time, and I almost one-shot the Pokémon. I switch to Misty, and he uses a Smokescreen again. One Water Gun is enough to put the Pokémon down, winning the battle. Once inside Ilex Forest, we cooked a Paras for HM use, and quickly arrived at Goldenrod City. Once there, we went north to the bug catching contest to add new members to the team. Doing the contest twice netted us a Scyther that we named Viola, and also a Butterfree that we named Bugsy. With our new members, we went to the gym to battle all the trainers and reach the level cap. Time to battle Whitney. Since she only uses 2 Pokémon, I went with Roxanne and Viola. She started with Clefairy, and I went with Onix. I start with Screech, and she uses Metronome. I start using Rock Tomb, and she goes for Mimic. I use Screech again, and she uses my Rock Tomb. Next turn, we both do Rock Tomb. She heals, and I use Screech again. I use another Rock Tomb, and she uses Metronome and gets Poison Fang, and poisons me. Very unlucky. Another Rock Tomb finally knocks out the Fairy Pokémon. Next is her terrible Miltank. She uses Stomp and I miss. She uses Stomp again and I use Screech. We both repeat moves and I faint due to poison. I send out Viola. I use Pursuit and she uses Rollout. We repeat moves and she puts me at 1 HP. Another Pursuit and I land a critical hit. What a match, by far the hardest battle so far. With the third batch, we move forward to catch Sudowoodo for HMs. A bit later, we arrive at Ecrutex City. We went to the theater and beat the Team Rocket Grand, and as a reward, we received HM3 Surf. Next, we went to the Burn Tower, where we had another rival battle. He starts with Ghastly, and I send out Viola. Pursuit one-shots the Ghost. Next is Kilava, and I switch to Roxanne, who hits a smoke screen. He uses it again, and I hit with Rock Throw. We both repeat the same moves. I decide to switch to Misty, and even though she receives 2 smoke screens, she lands a Water Gun that KOs him. Next is Magnemite. I switch to Fantina, and he paralyzes me. He confuses us, and I use Nightshade. He responds with Thundershock, and another Nightshade knocks it out. His last Pokémon is Zubat, and I switch to Roxanne, who gets confused. Roxanne hits herself twice, and he also uses Bite twice. Next Rock Throw lands, and finally, with the last one, we knock the bat out. After the battle, the legendary dogs are released. With that, we went to Route 38 for 2 main goals. First, to catch a new member, Whitney the Miltank, and also to find 2 Magnemites carrying metal coats using compound ice from Butterfree. This is one of the Magnemites, which will be renamed later as Watson. With that, we evolved Viola and Roxanne as per the rules of the challenge. The next thing was battling the gym trainers. And then, I moved forward through Route 38 to reach the level cap of several team members. Also, I grabbed a Gem 4 from this hiker on Route 42. With that, we arrived at Olivine City and got the Wood Rod, which was used to fish and catch a Krabby, a very useful Pokémon for several HMs. Since we were there, I climbed to the top of the lighthouse and spoke with Jasmine. After that, I returned to Ecrutex City to battle the gym leader. Since Hunter evolved, I also got a Gengar, and I went with her, Roxanne, Viola, and Butterfree. Let's beat gym leader Morty. I lead with Fantina, and he starts with Ghastly. Shadow Punch one-shots the Pokémon. Next was his first Hunter. Shadow Punch one-shots again. Now it's time for his ace, Gengar. I land a Shadow Punch, but then a Shadow Ball knocks us out. I send out Viola, he lands a Shadow Ball and I use Pursuit. He heals and I keep using the same move. He misses Hypnosis and I leave him with a sliver of health. He lands a last Shadow Ball and I knock him out. Lastly, he sends out his second Hunter and uses Nightshade. I keep using Pursuit. He heals again and I hit hard with another Pursuit. He knocks us out with a Nightshade and I send out Roxanne. I miss a Rock Tomb, but with another attempt we defeat the Pokémon and win our 4th match. After the battle, we return to Olivine City and surf south to reach Cianwood City. We grabbed the secret potion first for later, and then we headed north to battle Eusine. With that, we entered the gym to battle all the trainers inside. Once we reached the level cap, it was time to battle Chuck with Gengar and Butterfree. He leads with Primeape, and I send out Fantina. I land a Confuse Ray, and he uses Double Team. I switch to Shadow Punch multiple times until he heals. I keep going, and he lands 2 Rock Slides. One last Shadow Punch knocks out the monkey. Next is Poliwrath. I use Curse and I faint. I send out Bugsy and use Sleep Powder. After that, a Gust and then a Psybeam are enough to put his ace down and earn the 5th match. Once outside the gym, we receive a Gem 2, Fly. Following the level cap order, it was time to head to Mahogany Town through Route 42. Then we detour north to Route 43 and reach the Lake of Rage, where we caught the red Gyarados and named her Lana. After that, we cleared the Team Rocket hideout and battled Petrel. A very easy battle where Bugsy took care of all his Pokémon. At this point, Team Rocket Grands and Executives are not a problem at all. After easily winning the double battle with Champion Lens on our side, we received HM5 Whirlpool. After that, we cleared the gym trainers and reached the level cap with Whitney, Viola, and Fantina. Let's battle Price. I start with Whitney, and he sends out Seal. I use Defense Curl, and he uses Icy Wind. I start using Rollout, and I crit. He retaliates with another Icy Wind. Another Rollout KOs the Pokémon. Next is Piloswine. He uses Hail and Rollout misses. He uses Blizzard and I restart the move, but another Blizzard puts us down. I send out Fantina. I confuse Piloswine and he hits himself in confusion. I miss a Shadow Ball, but he hits himself in confusion again. I land a Shadow Ball and he hits himself in confusion for the third time in a row. One final Shadow Ball knocks him out. Lastly, Dugo. I confuse him first and he uses Aurora Beam. 2 Shadow Balls are enough to beat the Pokémon and earn another badge. Before the next gym battle, we reach Whirl Islands to catch a horsey that we named Wake. Also, we cook the Tentacle for HM use. With that, we return to Ollivan's Lighthouse to heal Amphi. Time to battle Jasmine with Fantina, Roxanne, and Misty. I lead with Roxanne and she sends out Magnemite. It uses Sonic Boom and I use Dick, one-shotting the Pokémon. Next is her own Steelix. I switch to Misty and it starts the Sandstorm. I use Rain Dance and she misses Iron Tail. I deal massive damage with Bubble Beam, triggering the Citrus Berry. She uses Sandstorm again and another Bubble Beam is enough to beat her. Lastly, she sends out her second Magnemite, which is one-shotted but match-shot from Misty. 6 badges in our hands. As I did before, I'm going to skip the Team Rocket events. We had to battle our rival though. I send out Miltank and he leads with Golbat. I use Defense Curl and he uses Air Cutter. I start with Rollout and the second one puts him down. Next is Kilava, who is one-shotted by Rollout. Sneasel receives the same fate and is one-shotted, and also his Magnemite. Against Hunter, one Body Slam deals massive damage and paralyzes the ghost, and another one puts him down. Nice performance from Whitney. Now it's time to defeat Team Rocket once and for all. I use Whitney again, and after a defense curl, I use Rollout to put all 3 of Archer's Pokémon down. After Team Rocket was dispatched, we went to Route 47 to catch a seal that we named Bryson. After that, we went to Route 44 and then to the Ice Path. Once inside, we cooked a Swinub named Price and grabbed HM7 Waterfall. Once outside, we arrived at Blackthorn City. After that, we went inside the gym to clear the trainers and reach the level cap. Last gym leader from Johto. I choose Gengar, Gyarados, Scizor, and Miltank. I lead with Gengar, and she sends out Gyarados. I miss Thunder, and he lands a bite. I miss again, and another bite puts us down. Terrible start. I send out Whitney and use Defense Curl. She uses Dragon Rage. I begin using Rollout, and a second one puts her down. She sends out Kingra, which is heavily damaged, triggering the Citrus Berry. But she uses Dragon Pulse and knocks us out. I send out Viola, who eats a Hydro Pump, and I use X-Scissor. Luckily, she misses a second Hydro Pump, and I KO her with another X-Scissor. Next is her Dragonair. I keep using X-Scissor, dealing tons of damage, but a Fire Blast puts Viola down. Our last hope is Lana. She heals, but Ice Fang one-shots the Pokémon. She sends out her second one, but Lana one-shots it again with Ice Fang. That was a close call, but Lana manages to turn the tables and win us the last batch. Once we finish the events in the Dragon's Den, we received a Dratini that we named Claire. Time to prepare for the Elite Four. First, we spoke with Elm, and then we had to fight every Kimono Girl in Necrotech City. They were very easy to beat with our current team and levels. Once that was done, we headed east from home to reach Kanto, and then we went inside Victory Road. Before leaving, we had to battle our rival, but I forgot about it and I did not prepare nor save before starting. Let's see what happened. He leads with Sneasel, and I switch to Viola, who receives a feint attack. He uses it again, and later I one-shot him with an X-Scissor. Next is Typhlosion, and I switch to Lana, who receives a weak Lava Plume. He uses Swift, and I retaliate with a Waterfall that one-shots his ace. Next is Magnezone, and I switch to Viola again. We get paralyzed. He misses Supersonic, and I use X-Scissor. He misses again, and I cannot move. He uses a Spark, and I keep with the same move. We both keep going until eventually it faints. Next is Golbat. He misses and I cannot move. He crits with Air Cutter and I use a Slash. We both repeat the same moves, but he knocks us out. I send out Claire and use Extreme Speed to finally defeat Golbat. His next Pokémon is Haunter, which uses Minloop. I use Dragon Rush, which does a lot of damage to him. He confuses me and almost beats me with Shadow Ball, but I land an Aqua Tail and defeat the ghost. His last Pokémon is Kadabra, and I switch to Lana. He deals a lot of damage with Psybeam, but we one-shot the Pokémon with a very powerful Waterfall. Amazing team effort. Time to prepare for the Elite Four. I bought some TMs in exchange for coins that I cheated as per the rules of the challenge. I bought tons of items to heal between battles, and I trained my team to level 47. These were the chosen Pokémon for the Elite Four and their movesets. I trained Kingra to level 48, so it could learn Dragon Dance. Let's begin. The first contender is Will. I send out Gengar and he starts with Xatu. I use Thunderbolt, one-shotting the bird. Next is Jinx. I use Shadow Ball and knock her out. He sends out Slowbro, who suffers the same fate. He sends out his ace, another Xatu. I use Thunderbolt that does not KO, but paralyzes him. He uses a very strong Psychic, but another Thunderbolt puts him down. Lastly, he sends out Executor, which is one-shotted by another Shadow Ball. Next is Koga. He leads with Ariados, and I chose Price. He one-shots it with Earthquake. Next is Fortress. He uses Protect, and I cannot hit. I use Earthquake again, and he uses Toxic Spikes. He protects again twice, missing both Ice Shards. He switches to Swift, and I keep trying Ice Shard, which does nothing to him. After protecting one more turn, it goes down with Earthquake. His next Pokémon is Venomoth. I use Ice Shard, and he poisons us with Toxic. He uses Psychic, and I KO with Ancient Power. He sends out Mach, and I one-shot it with Earthquake. He chooses Crobat, and I use Ice Shard while he uses Double Team. The poison knocks us out, and I send out Fantina. He lands a wing attack, but Thunderbolt puts him down, winning us the second battle. The third match was against Bruno. I lead with Gyarados, I use Dragon Dance twice, and Hitmontop tries counter twice without success. Then I use Waterfall, one-shotting one Pokémon after another. Lana is a beast. Time to battle Karen. I use Scissor as my lead. I set up Swords Dance, and she goes for Double Team. I use it again, and she uses Feint Attack. I set up for a third time, and she uses Double Team again. X-Scissor one-shots the Pokémon, and she sends out Houndoom, which outspeeds and puts us down. I send out Wake, she sets up with Nasty Plot, and I use Sword, which does not KO her. She uses Dark Pulse, and I flinch. Another Dark Pulse puts us down. I send out Lana, and she uses another dangerous Nasty Plot. Waterfall is enough to put her down though. Thank God. Next is Murkrow. I set up with one Dragon Dance and one-shot him. Same thing with Vileplume. Her last Pokémon is Gengar. I use Dragon Dance again, and she uses Spite. Another Waterfall one-shots the Ghost. Time to beat the champion. I lead with Fantina. His Gyarados is one-shotted by a Thunderbolt. Next is Aerodactyl. He uses Crunch and almost one-shots us. I retaliate with Thunderbolt. I decide to switch to Price, who eats an Aerial Ace. An Ice Shard puts the fossil down. Next is Charizard, and I switch to Lana, who gets a burn from a Fire Fang. He misses his attack, and I one-shot with Waterfall. Lance sends out his first Dragonite, who puts us down with a Thunder. I send out Wake, who is one-shotted by a Dragon Rush. Terrible performance from Kingdra in this playthrough. I return Price to the fray and use Ice Shard to put the dragon down with a critical hit. The champion sends out his second Dragonite, and I land an Ice Shard that triggers his berry while he misses his Fire Blast. Another Ice Shard puts the Pokémon down. Time for the final Dragonite. I keep using Ice Shard, he misses his move, and next turn he heals. I keep using Ice Shard, putting him in the red, and he heals 2 more times until finally it goes down. We are the champions, my friends. I think those 6 Pokémon were great options, especially Gyarados, Mamoswine, Scizor, and Gengar, the real MVPs of the run. Time to speak with Professor Elm to receive the SS ticket and travel with the SS Aqua to Kanto. In this area, I'm going to unlock all the routes and locations first, and also beat all the trainers of Camera. We are going to focus only on the gym leaders and the final boss of the game. Since we had a clear advantage, I'm going to summarize the battles as much as possible. With that clear, let's begin to earn more badges. We started against Lieutenant Surge. I choose Mamoswine with the Soft Sun item. I use Earthquake and one-shotted everything. Next was Sabrina. I used Fantina with Focus Sash and Shadow Wall against every single one of her Pokémon. We were hit hard during the battle, but thanks to the Focus Sash, Fantina was able to finish the job. Let's watch the Misty battle. I send out Fantina and put down Golduck with a Thunderbolt and a Shadow Ball. Quagsire feints to a Shadow Ball. Starmie survives a Thunderbolt and she freezes us, and then defeats Fantina. Very unlucky. Then Lana finishes both Starmie and Lapras. This battle should have been a breeze, but we cannot lower our guard. Erika was a victim of Price with the Never Melt Ice and Ice Shard, although we had to use both Lana and Fantina to finish Bellossom and Victreebel. Against Janine, I use Claire, who sets up with 3 Dragon Dances and then uses Extreme Speed against Crobat, Fire Punch against the Bugs, and Outrage for the rest. For Brock, I use Lana with Mystic Water. I use Waterfall and Earthquake against Onix and Omastar, but we are defeated against Kabutops. I send out Fantina to finish the job with Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball. Lastly, against Blaine, I use Lana again, setting up 2 Dragon Dances and using Earthquake since Sunny Day is up. After defeating the 7 leaders, we speak to Blue on Cinnabar Island. Before beating him, we went to Mount Moon to beat the rival for the last time. It was a very boring battle, using Claire with 2 Dragon Dances and sweeping his entire team. Let's battle the last gym leader of Kanto. I lead with Claire. I use Dragon Dance and he uses Trick Room. He lands Hypnosis and he uses Psychic 3 times in a row while we sleep. Claire is defeated and we begin with a rough start. I send out Viola and set up with Swords Dance. He uses Trick Room again and he puts us to sleep. Next turn he puts us to sleep, but we wake up on the second turn, landing an X-Scissor that puts him down. Next is Arcanine, and I switch to Lana while he uses Flare Blitz. He outspeeds with Dragon Pearls, but Waterfall puts the Fire Pokémon down. Blue sends out Rhydon, who is one-shotted by a Waterfall. Next is Machamp. We do not one-shot, but he flinches. Another Waterfall and the Pokémon faints. Blue sends out his Gyarados. I use Ice Fang and not only get a critical hit, but also freeze him. Very lucky. Another Ice Fang puts him down. Lastly, he sends out Pidgeot. We use Ice Fang and another freeze. Only for one turn though. He uses Whirlwind and now it is time for Price, who uses a super effective Ice Shard that knocks out the bear and wins us the last battle. With all the badges in hand, we went to speak with Professor Oak in Pallet Town. Also, he gave us HMA, Rock Climb, so we could battle Red on top of Mount Silver. We reached the level cap, that I decided was level 80, and prepared for the last battle. After a long trek, it was time to battle the best of the best with this team, the same that we used against the Elite Four, but changing Wake for Claire. He leads with Pikachu, and I use Price. He lands an Iron Tail that deals tons of damage, but we use Earthquake when shotting the Pokémon. He sends out Blastoise, and Blizzard puts us down. I send out Fantina, and I use Thunderbolt. He uses Blizzard again. Another Thunderbolt puts him down. Red sends out Lapras, and I keep using Thunderbolt. He retaliates with Brine, and Fantina faints. I choose Viola and set up with Swords Dance, while he keeps using Brine. One Iron Head puts Lapras down. Red sends out Charizard, and I decide to switch to Whitney, who eats a Flare Blitz for half of our HP. He outspeeds with Air Slash that puts us in the red, and I use Body Slam. Another Air Slash KOs Whitney. I send out Lana. He uses Air Slash again, and Waterfall puts him down. Red sends out Venusaur, and I switch to Claire, and he misses a Sleep Powder. He uses a weak Sludge Bomb, and I use Fire Punch. We both repeat the same move, but this time we manage to defeat him. Red's last Pokémon is Snorlax. I use Outrage and deal more than half damage. He retaliates with Blizzard and puts us down. I send out Lana for the Intimidate debuff. I use Dragon Dance first and he uses Blizzard again. I use Waterfall, finally defeating the Pokémon and winning us the battle. The run is over! We actually did it. The challenge is complete without losing a single battle. There were some scary moments, especially against Whitney and Claire, but we made it all the way to the end. These runs will help complete other playthroughs, but I also use them as practice to improve my battle skills and gain knowledge, so I can try harder challenges in the future. Thank you so much for watching, I will see you in the next one, take care.